Hi all, let's discuss about interview questions asked for report programming. This is a definite question. What are different types of report? Classical report, interactive report, and ALB report. ALB is also interactive, but it's a specialized category of report. What are events and what are different types of events in classical report? Above is basically event-driven programming. There is a driver program which will read different events and will execute the statements under. In classical report, we have events initialization, just to initialize whatever you want. Art selection screen is to validate user input, start of selection, end of selection, top of page, end of page. Art selection screen is that type of event which is having many variations. Art selection screen without any other like any other syntax does the work of validation. If it is art selection screen on value request does F for help possible values and help request gives the functionality of F1 help. Top of page is to print any header in our report if you want, and end of page is to print footer. What is the special event we have in classical report? It is art selection screen output. What is the use of art selection screen output? To dynamically modify the screen, we can use art selection screen output. If we have a requirement based on our choice, we want to display some of the fields or hide some of the fields, we can go for the event art selection screen output and utilize logic under it. In classical reports, we have to using initialization art selection screen output. Which one is going to trigger first? Art selection screen output is going to trigger first. Okay, because that takes care of modifying the screen. What are the events we have in interactive reports? Interactive reports, we have art line selection, means when you select a line, when you double click, if you want something to happen, that you can write on or art selection screen, art line selection, sorry. Art user command, if on the output, you want a button, you press that button, you want something to happen, then those type of requirement you can capture using art user command. Top of page during line selection and art PFN. PFN is for the PF keys. What is interactive report? Interactive report is that kind of report where once the output is displayed, we can also interact with the output. Like we can change, we can filter, we can sort, we can download, or we can further generate another set of output. Then we go for interactive reports. And these are the events. What are the control level processing on art events? Basically, all control level events are valid inside internal table. Like at first, at new, at first means at first row. When you loop in internal table, the first row, if you want to do something, at new, we have to give the field name. That means field name is the column name. Whenever any value change for that column, at new will be triggered. That means at a new value of that column. So we have employee and salary. Whenever a new employee number comes, if we have at new employee number, whenever a new employee number comes, the at new employee number will be triggered. And at end of, similarly, before new value comes, for example, we have set up records, say sales order. One sales order having so many items, another sales order having its respective items. If you want at end of sales order, that means before the next sales order comes, this will trigger. At last, at the last row, end of the data internal table. Basically, you want to do grand total. Those type of features we can use using ArcLast. Types of ALV report. ALV is interactive report, but it also has many features. We can have normal ALV, we can have blocked ALV, we can have hierarchical ALV. So many types of ALV report we can develop. What are the events that we have in ALV? There are many events. Some of the common events are PF status, PF status set, user command. If you want any button on ALV, top of page, the header section, if you want to show something, header of your report, we can use that one, top of page. What are the difference between ranges and selectors? Technically, both are same based on the structure, but ranges does not have a display. It does not show on the screen. Select options shows on the screen with from two values. If you declare a select option in your program, automatically the from and to will come. But ranges, it will not come. Ranges we use internally to prepare and using select queries with in condition. We'll use ranges. Select option structure is sign option low high. Range structure is sign option low high. The basic difference is we create range internally to be used in the program, whereas we create select option to display user display on the screen as user input with range feature. You can give from value to value. What is the difference between art new and on changer? This is a very important question, and most of the interview it is asked. The difference is, suppose your table has 5 columns and you have kept art new on the third column. That means any new value of the third column, this art new will trigger. The challenge is, even if a value change happens for first or second column, you have specified art new on the third column. Even if a change of value happens in the first or second column, art new will be triggered. That means even you specify for a specific column, a value change in that column it triggers, a value change in any column before that also triggers with art new. Whereas on change up is very particular. On change up, even if only if the value of that column changes, on change up will trigger. What are the prerequisites of art new? All this control level processing you use. Better you sort the internal table before you loop. How do you debug a background job? Before that, we need to know what is a background job. When we execute a program in SE38, we run the program, we give the input values, and we see the result. So this is what we say we are running the program in foreground. If the program takes a long time, because in SAP, we basically the default setting is 10 minutes. If any program taking more than 10 minutes, it will dump showing a timeout error. In interview, they will ask you what is timeout error. You can say that. If a program is taking a long time, more than 10 minutes, it will dump 10 minutes the default setting. Your basis guys can change it also later. But we cannot control a program to be run within 10 minutes. The program may be very big, complex program dealing with so many tables, huge data. That program will take more time. Those cases, those programs which take a long time, we run it in a background. When you run program in background, we say that's a job. It is a job. Running the program in a background, it's a job. Some issue happened, some error happened. You ran the program in background and some issue happened. What you are going to do? You want to debug? like our program. The way you debug the background program is go to SM37. This is how. Let me go and show you how you debug a background job for SM37. Let's try to find out any job. Let me do from 2020 to 2023. So many jobs you can see. This is how we see the job in SM37 transaction. You can see all the jobs. You can see finished, ready, released, cancelled. I want to debug this job. I select that job. Then I will enter the code JDBG. Okay. That means debug, DBG is debug, J is job. Job debugging. Very easy to remember this transaction. Frequently, this process is asked in the interview. I have a background job. It's not working as expected. I want to debug. How can I debug? You should not say you can put a breakpoint and do that. You cannot do. You have to go to SM37, select that job, and type the command or T code JDBG. Press enter. As soon as you enter with JDBG command, you can see the program opened in debugger mode and you can debug. What are the steps to create background job? SM37 is to check the status of the background job. SM36 is used to create. Let me show you one. SM36 background job. We can set up. Let me see if we have any program with us. I'll set a background job. You can see it. Very good. We have a program. Let's run this in program. Now I'm running this program in program. Let me run it in background. We'll get a job. What I can do program, execute in background. Okay. Immediate, run in background immediate and save. Now if you go to SM37 and today's date, 18th April, if you run it, you will see the background job, one background job that you created, and it is executing. It will take some time. Once it is complete, it will also finished. Now it is active job. Refresh. You'll see finished once it's done. Okay, see the status became active to finish, and once this yellow colored spool came, means foreground we saw the output. Background, how can we see the output? SAP takes care of that. SAP takes the output and stores in a spool. This yellow color comes. You double click on it and you again double click, you will see the output. This is the spool output. So the interview question is, if I run the background, my program, how do I see the output? The answer is background job get a spool request. So if you go to that background job in SM37, double click on the spool, you'll be able to find out what is the output. Okay. The question was how to set up a background job. I did directly from SE38. Even I can do it from SM36. Okay. Say that's a variant. So you need a variant to set it up. What is my program name? Okay, let me go SM36. My job name, I can say just give any job, just a name. Then go to step. In step, we'll be giving the program name. Okay. Program name came automatically. This because the currently we're updating. And we'll be using this variant and save. So what happened? I saved the job. Then I'll go to start condition. I'll keep run immediate. See, all this I'm doing on SM36. First time I did, I went to the program and I did execute in background. Now what I'm doing, I'm going to SM37 to set up a background job. I have set it up already. Now let me see. Another background job might be there. In SM37, I can check. Okay, the job I think is not released. We created the job. We created the start condition. That's my job. Okay. Okay, job is there. Job is there. Then we have put the start condition, immediate. Okay. Now immediate start, then job. We have to save it actually. Job released. Okay, now it will work. Last time we didn't save. Now you can see the job, an active job we can see. Okay, it started and it also finished. Okay, job name was one second job. You want to see the output? You see the output. Okay. So now we understood how to debug background job in SM37, entering the transaction code JDBG. We also understood how to set up a background job in SM36 or in AC38 cell program executing background. What are the purpose of variance? I just showed you. Variance is like to save whatever the input that you have given on the selection screen. We will be using variance. Variance are used to store the selection screen input values. That is client dependent and client independent. Client independent variance actually is stored in cluster table vary. That means you store, you create the variant in one client, it is visible in other client. In my program, I'm writing logic. Certain logic should be executed in background. Certain logic should be executed in foreground. Very tricky question. I have a program. I want part of my logic should be executed in background. Part of my logic should be executed in foreground. What do you do? Programmatically, you can also create a job. Like in SM36 transaction, I went and created a job. You can do the same thing programmatically using three function modules. One is to job open, job submit, job close. Okay, so part of the program you run it, and part of the program you get a job. So at end of the program run, you will see the output. Also, go to SM37. Program might have already created a job. How to create a job programmatically? Using three function modules: job open, job submit, job close. What are the difference between perform and perform on commit? Perform is triggered by condition or directly in your program. You can just call a subroutine. The statement perform on commit is register the subroutine directly specified in some program. Okay, just a flag we set it up. Okay, and once you do the commit, then the subroutine will be called. Not just like we call a subroutine based on condition. How to upload Excel file data into an internal table. In uploading text file is very easy. As all of you know, GUI underscore upload will upload. But for Excel file, there is another function module, ALSM Excel to internal table. What it will do, it will directly take your data, Excel data, and will not store row column wise. Rather, it will store row 1, column 1, this is the data. Row 1, column 2, this is the data. Then row 2, column 1, row 2, column 2. Like that, it will store. I think I have given you a task to read data from an Excel file. It is not one step, it is two steps. In first step, you get the Excel file data to the internal table. Then another step, transform that interpretable data to a row column format, like all the columns of one row, then all the columns of another row will be displayed. Fine, these are the common questions basically asked from the report programming when you go for the interview. Practice it. Thank you all.